Welcome to this Destination Staffordshire webinar, Best in Class Reputation for Small Businesses. This is a six-part webinar and we're now on part 4, which is about how to manage excellence in every part of your business. We've already covered in parts 1, 2 and 3 how to clarify what you're selling and to who, building marketing messages that manage the expectation of your customers, building excellence into every part of your business, and how to start to build those building blocks to your tower of reputation. And now we're headed to how to manage the excellence in every part of your business. And that management is so important on a day-to-day basis to maintain everything that you hope for your business. Afterwards, in parts 5 and 6, we'll be heading over to understanding how to gain reviews and good feedback, and also then how to manage negative feedback. So if we focus in on managing excellence in your business, then we can start by talking about defining who delivers the excellence in your business. So in part 3, we talked quite extensively about the breakdown of all the tiny little elements of excellence in your business so that excellence runs through your business like a stick of rock. But understanding who is going to deliver that is also so important, because in a very busy tourism business, potentially with 1 or 2 staff or lots of staff running around, and the everyday workings of the business, you can quickly see how that excellence might start to break down just because the who hasn't been defined. So you already know what you sell and to whom you sell it to. You understand your audience like a best friend. And we've talked very clearly about the experiences that they're looking for in that excellence and experience, and how you can deliver and under promise so that magic moments happen throughout their experience. But it's now really important to understand how you have crafted your marketing to get your customers there, and to understand who then can deliver that excellence based on all those things that you've promised as part of your marketing and as a part of their customer journey. So, for example, if we start to break down, in the last section, we talked about breaking down excellence in terms of the customer journey, so the dreaming phase, planning, etc. And it's really interesting to do it that way, because you're thinking about what's important from the customer's point of view, you're empathizing from their point of view. It's also worth noting down all those different elements, and you will have, if you've done part 3 of our reputation management, you can look at your list of all those elements of excellence that we talked about. And then now you can start to break down who is going to deliver each bit of that. So, for example, if we think about that dreaming phase, you may have come up with options about how to deliver excellence at that phase by providing fantastic quality images, videos, testimonials and reviews. You may have made it super easy for somebody to really indulge in that dreaming phase by giving them lots and lots of opportunity to delve into all the different bespoke opportunities they have with you, for example, or all the really fun, amazing bits that you're going to deliver as part of this upcoming experience. Who's in charge of that? Who has access to the website? Who is going to be in charge of those images? Do you need to outsource in order to get those best images and videos? Which part of that dreaming phase are you going to take responsibility for? Have you got somebody who can help you with that? Moving through to the planning or the booking phase, who writes that welcome letter? Does somebody just write a welcome email ad hoc and you hope that, well, you've got nice staff, I'm sure they write nice welcome emails, or have you preset a welcome letter that says the words that you need and want in your business, that has that lovely human touch and that excellence that you are hoping for? So does your business use a standardized welcome letter or standardized confirmations that breathe excellence right through that customer experience? Again, when you think about how excellence might be delivered at the experience phase of somebody's visit, who is going to do that? Is that just management staff? Do you not worry too much about the serving staff? Or is it are the waitresses and the people showing them to their table, or somebody who comes in to clean the bedroom or turn down beds, or the people who are taking the tickets at the event? Do all of them fully feel invested in what you are trying to deliver in terms of excellence in your business? And understanding these roles and responsibilities is really important, and writing them down too, so that everybody knows who is responsible for each element of that excellence. There are two ways of looking at this. It's important that people understand what their roles and responsibilities are, but it's also important that all your staff and everybody within your business understands that you all are responsible for the overarching success and excellence in the business, and you are all responsible for building the reputation, but that you all take your individual elements. What you don't want to do is to develop a culture in your business where it's somebody else's fault if that bit was rubbish. Clearly, that's not what you're aiming for. So it's important that roles and responsibilities are allocated, whether you work in a hierarchy basis or whether everybody in the business is equal, but who gets to make those decisions. And it's also important to understand who gets to do the additional stuff, like providing a freebie cup of tea, offering somebody a free newspaper, upgrading somebody as far as the ticketing is concerned. Giving somebody the power and responsibility to do that within a business really helps that excellence flow throughout the experience of your customers. You need to build then the structure into your business so that really everybody is aware of who can make what decisions, and if a decision needs to be made and they're not able to make that decision, who does? So in some businesses, they might have this written on a wall. In some businesses, it might be part of staff training. It might be that you have a very small business and there's just a couple of you, but it's really worth sitting down and discussing and understanding who is part of every bit of excellence, all those tiny little building blocks throughout that reputation building. It's also really important to know who's looking after your business from a digital point of view. So if you are managing reviews, managing testimonials, managing what people are saying about you out on the internet is really important. So being in charge of your Google My Business, being in charge of how the internet views your business, and doing that kind of digital audit is also hugely important. And again, it's very easy to imagine that reputation is based on the face-to-face element of your business. So when you get to meet the customer and how nice you are to them. But in fact, what's really important is also that digital presence, so that they have that excellence in service. It's worth auditing your website, and what some businesses do is they select a few people to go and trawl and crawl through their website to see how it functions, to see how that booking service really works, because it's all very well thinking you planned a nice website, but is it maintained? Are all those links still working? Is everything still running as smoothly as you would hope it would be? And as part of any business, it's worth working out which bits you might need to outsource. So if you do need to have a new website, you do need to invest in online booking for your business, or you do need some help with your social media, then it really is worth investing, because if you imagine, as we've already talked about, that your reputation is a tower and some of those little blocks aren't there, then that starts to fester and break down your overall excellence in reputation that you're striving for. So if we just recap on that, then managing excellence in your business is really important. Define what elements of excellence are there. So we covered that at the end of part 3, sorry. And you may well have made that list of all the tiny little elements, and keep that list on a wall in the office, because it's really useful to add that in. Because as you're sweeping up, or as you're doing something, or picking some flowers to put in somebody's bedroom, you might think, oh, I do that as well, so let's put that in. So it's worth adding that, because it'll make you feel good, but it'll also show you where the gaps are. And then really defining who delivers each element of that excellence, so that everybody feels invested and everybody feels part of that story and that dream to find the best reputation, or best in class reputation, that you're looking for. Identify what the roles and responsibilities are, who can do what, who has the ability to do what, does everybody understand that, and what is the structure of that delivery? So do you have a hierarchy where you've got senior leaders or management teams, or are you a much smaller business where it's equal and everybody has to muck in at every part? That's fine too, but again, make sure that you understand exactly who is doing that, and do they know it, and do they feel confident? And this then really builds on to this next part about building in the monitoring side, because this particular part of the webinar is about managing the excellence. You have the excellence there, you have done the homework, you've worked hard, but how do you manage it on a day-to-day level? Staff training and empowerment is so important as part of this. Time and again, you might visit a tourism experience or a place or a leisure activity, and all too often younger members of staff, or members of staff who are fed up of their job, waiting on staff, somebody who's a bit bored in a ticketing office, really can impact the feeling of experience for your customers. And although it's tempting to think, well, it's not a very interesting job in the ticket office, what can you expect? They're sitting there with 3 layers of clothes on and the radio on in the background. Yeah, we do tell them to smile, but what can you do? Isn't really where excellence in reputation is going to come from. So really, staff training and empowerment is something for a business to focus on. Do all your staff fully understand the overall aim and mission in your business? Do they understand that you are going for this excellence in reputation? Do they understand their part that they play in it, and also how important they are? Are they empowered? Do they have the confidence to really step forward and notice something for a customer and step forward and say, I can help you with that? Do they have the confidence to go above and beyond what is asked of them? Do they feel appreciated? Do they feel looked after? And do they feel that their part is important to you? It's really important that not only is staff training about initial training, how to do it, how to wait on, or how to wash up, or how to manage the till or the ticketing office, but do your staff get trained beyond that? Do you have ongoing training which involves how to interact with humans, how to maintain their confidence, how to maintain their smile and feel part of the fun of it? So staff training empowerment is worth noting down. Have a look at what you do currently. Can you improve it? Can you do some more ongoing training? Do you need to invest in somebody coming in to do some staff training or some confidence training? Do you need to empower your senior members of staff to look after maybe young staff who are on their first or second jobs, who might need that encouragement where life experience might be lacking? One other element that might work really well in your business is introducing the idea of a daily briefing or a shift briefing and handovers. This is something that you might find in the medical profession, or you might find in an engineering profession or in a factory floor situation where you have to hand over and say, yep, this machine's working, that's happening, we've produced this much, and your shift has got to produce this much. But actually in the tourism business, this is really important too. Let's start from a daily briefing point of view. If you have several members of staff, or if it's just you and somebody else, have a look at each day. How did that day go? Because if we're able to pick up small bits that are small parts of your service or product that are beginning to slip a little bit, that might be starting to break down, you're able to nip that in the bud before it starts to fester in the minds of customers. So looking at a daily briefing might be really important. You could have a little look at how did that shift or that day go? Did all the customers get their breakfast? Were there any worries or concerns? Is there a piece of machinery that's breaking down? Is there a bit of carpet where somebody tripped up and it needs stapling back down? Was there a problem with a blocked loo that's recurring? It could be something as very small and as simple to say, were all the flowers on the table fresh this morning, or were there some brown leaves? This is where excellence lies. You might feel that this is unimportant, but this is where excellence lies in your business. And so picking over those small bits and maybe bringing in different members of staff to feel involved in that, and having everybody in one room will work too. So rather than keeping waiting staff and kitchen staff in one area and asking them how the kitchen went, and then the cleaning staff somewhere else and asking them how the changeovers went, it might be a good idea to bring everybody together, mix up the different departments, and help them understand their contribution and how to notice and pick up those daily things that might be starting to slip or might need to be improved on. It's also worth including in this daily briefing whether there have been any small comments. Often people won't complain until they really have to, but they might not smile as much as they did the day before, or they might just roll their eyes slightly at their partner, or they might say, yes, it was nice, but you're clearing away a plate where half of it hasn't been eaten. These are the things to notice so that you can make sure that these things don't begin to grow and start to break down reputation. So start to introduce daily briefings and handovers will be very good. And those daily reviews then can start to be fed back to the next shift, or can be fed up to the management. And then there's an opportunity to revisit that area and rebuild the excellence. Also, you need to have a little think about the availability of staff, and maybe the availability of senior staff if you have a hierarchy. Again, quite often, all a human wants to do is see another human. Quite often, customers don't necessarily expect you to be a 5-star hotel, for example, at all times, and they understand that they haven't paid for a 5-star hotel. But excellence doesn't just come in, shiny brass luggage carriers or people in uniform in a lift. 5-star service and that excellence often comes with simple human contact. So it's really important too that you plan how your business is staffed and the availability of staff for humans. Quite often, they don't even need to have a discussion with a member of staff, but knowing that they're about, busying themselves, being available to them should they need them, quite often assuages any of the concerns that might be building and festering inside. And it helps build that reputation that it's not just what the services and product you offer, but the people within your business are key. We already mentioned earlier on that your story and your people equals excellence. it is about the people. So again, have a little look at your business and check about the availability of staff and who is available, just to give your customers the confidence they need. The other thing to think about, the next thing, is body language. You might think, hey, if you've been in the business for many, many years, you might become a dab hand. But actually, understanding body language is vital when you're creating a great reputation and having the best in class reputation. Listen in, obviously not eavesdrop, but notice what people are talking about at the desk. Notice what people are worried about at the ticketing office. Notice what people say to each other in the shop. Watch for body language. Watch for scowling. Watch for gossiping. Watch out for smiling and laughing, and watch out for the good stuff too. It's really important when you're building reputation that you do not ignore the small signals that might lead to a complaint and nip those signals in the bud. So if you are taking a plate away that they've said they've enjoyed but actually is half full, maybe you can ask a question. Maybe you can discern something from it. If you notice that somebody has been hanging around in reception for a little while, do you need to check that everything's okay with them? Do you need to check in and double check that their car isn't very far away in the car park, or that actually they've been queuing to check out? The other important thing is to tell your customers that this is what you do. You don't have to give them your staff briefing notes or, announce you're about to go and do a daily review. But it's really good to say to your customers when they arrive, yeah, we're just handing over now. We've been checking over on the day, or we noticed yesterday that our orange juice wasn't being drunk, so we're offering grapefruit at today's breakfast. Just dropping in those little comments all the time to show your customers that you are listening to them, that you are taking on board their feedback, you're watching, you're learning, and you're refining what you do at all times. You need to instill that confidence. So in this fourth part of creating best-in-class reputation, think about the building in that monitoring in order to manage that excellence in every part of your business on a day-to-day basis. This will really fundamentally reduce any negative feedback that you might have been getting, and it will also take you from being a perfectly good tourism business to an excellent one. So to conclude, take time over the small stuff always. Write it down for all to see, and bring along all your staff along your journey.